start, I'm going to use MAC Complete Comfort Cream as a moisturizer to prepare the skin for our face makeup. Next, I'm going to be using a Mica Beauty Cosmetics Eye Primer. This primer is a little bit more thick in consistency, more than the MAC paint pots that I usually use. So that's why I'm using my fingers to blend this out, since the warmth of my fingers will help it to get a little bit more thin. Now I'm going to be going in with my Makeup Geek eyeshadows in the color Beaches and Cream. This is great for a transition color or even a highlight color if you really wanted that. I'm going to be focusing this color right on the outer corner and right underneath the brow bone. That'll really help us when we go to blend out the darker colors. Now I'm going to be going in with Chickadee from Makeup Geek Cosmetics, and this looks like a more orangey yellow, but trust me when I tell you that when you go to blend this out, it'll really help with all the darker colors. I'm going to speed this up a little bit faster, only because you can already tell where I'm placing the color. It's going to go right underneath the brow bone and more in the crease. Now I'm going to be taking Corrupt from Makeup Geek Cosmetics, and I have to say this is the darkest matte black that I have ever owned, and it's perfect when you're doing really, really sparkly looks. What I really like about this Makeup Geek shade is that it's very buildable, so it can either be the darkest black that you could ever use, or it could be a very light gray depending on how much that you use of it. So as you can tell, I'm not really afraid to get this color on my entire lid, since the shade that we're going to be putting on the lid will need a darker base to really pop. So from here on out until we get to the next shade, you're just going to keep on blending that black and adding more definition. So right here I'm going to be taking the same shade of Beaches and Cream and just adding that to my brow bone, just so it doesn't look too muddy. After we blend that all out, I'm going to be taking Nylon from MAC, which you can't really see because of the lighting, and I apologize for that, but just a very high pigmented highlight. I'm going to be putting Nylon on a small detail brush and apply that right underneath the brow bone, just so that the brow bone can still stand out against all of these darker colors. Now just taking the same fluffy brush, I'm just blending that out. I'm taking Bella Pierre Cosmetics Pigment in the shade Reluctance. I'm using this as a base for the main lid shade we will be using. Just taking a flat synthetic brush and applying this to the lid. Now this is the main shade that we're going to be using. This is called Crinkle from Colourpop. It's a smoky blue loaded with silver and gold glitter and a metallic finish. This shade actually inspired me to call this the Mermaid Smoky Eye, and I think that is absolutely gorgeous. As with all of my Colourpop Cosmetic Super Shock shadows, I'm going to be applying this with my fingers. I feel as though it's so much easier and it goes on so much better instead of using a synthetic or real hair brush. Now after I've packed on that color, I'm going to be using Corrupt from Makeup Geek once again and just using a flat brush and just marking where I would like to blend it out and make more of a darker dimension. Taking Waz from the Naked Basics palette, I'm going to be using an angled brush to apply that to the brow bone and use that as a highlight. Now moving forward to the upper lash line, I'm going to use Revlon Color Stay Liquid Liner to create a winged out liner style. I like to stretch my lids out so I can get the liner as close to the lash line as possible. And now obviously I'm just going to do the same wing that I did on the other eye to this one. Because the eyeliner I'm using creates such a shiny finish, I like to pack a black shadow on top to diminish the shine. Here I'm just using Crave from the Naked Basics palette. Now onto the lashes. The brand that I'm using is Aveda. This one helps to lengthen and condition at the same time. Next, I'm going with Tarina Tarantino mascara, and this will help to curl the lashes. Taking a 24/7 Glide-On eye pencil from Urban Decay in the shade Crave, I'm going to be putting this right onto my waterline. I actually really do like this shade. I wasn't expecting to because I'm usually so used to the Perversion one because it's such a matte black color. But I really do like this one because as soon as it hits the lower lash line, it creates a very smoky look. Taking a small smudge brush, I'm going to smoke out the liner by using little strokes against the liner from the edge to the tear duct. This will create an even smokier effect. Here I'm using L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer and applying that to wherever we will be applying the foundation. I do enjoy this primer, but the only downside that I've noticed is that it makes a white cast effect all over my face. So I feel like I really can't wear it alone. If I just want to minimize my pores one day, I would have to wear maybe concealer over top. Taking the L'Oreal Magic Lumi foundation in my shade M4 Buff Beige, I'm going to use a damp makeup sponge to blend this out. taking the Tarte buffing brush on my neck. Since it's a wider area, I don't want any spots in case I miss a small area with the little makeup sponge. Personally, I love a heavy under eye highlighter, so I'm going to use this Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and I'm going to apply this in a triangle shape, also on my forehead, above my brows, and on my chin. I'm going to be using another damp makeup sponge to blend this all out. I really actually wasn't impressed with this makeup sponge. I already own 2 beauty blenders and this was like maybe 25% similar. It didn't absorb the excess and it really just moved it all around. It felt more like a plastic sponge than a actual, foam sponge. So needless to say, I'll stick to my original beauty blenders in the future. I did like that the top of the sponge is very sharp and pointed, so it allowed me to get into the smaller areas for a more precise application. Moving on, I'm going to be using my Aveda translucent powder on a small BH Cosmetics powder brush. I'm going to put this primarily on the areas that we just highlighted and let it sit for a little bit just so I can set onto our foundation, concealer, and everything else that we'll be putting on our face. This will really help to blend it all out. I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit and taking the shade Fawn on a small BH Cosmetics powder brush once again. I'm just going to start to really put dimension into my cheekbones and start that little contour process. And now I'm just also going to be putting this along my hairline. Taking a small detailing brush, I'm going to dip this in the shade Sand to highlight above our contour line. And now we're going to move on to the brows. This is my favorite part, and I'm sure that you can tell. And I'm going to be using Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in dark brown. I'm going to start by lining right against the natural line of my brow, then making small flicks against the hair, and then that's how I start to fill in the brow and still make it look more natural than just drawn on. You just have to remember to be very light-handed when using the Dip Brow Pomade, and a lot goes a long way. Now right about here is when I start to connect the arch of my brow to the end of my brow. This is why I love this pomade, because it makes it look like you really have hair there, even if you're a little bit more sparse than usual. Running a spoolie through your brows will really help to take off that excess brow pomade, so then it just makes it look a little bit more natural. And then just start to do the same to the other brow. And remember, they are sisters, not twins, so they don't need to look exactly alike. That'll actually look a little bit more unnatural, and that's not the look that we're going for. My right eyebrow has more of an arch than the left. I'm sort of manipulating the left to look as if it has a higher arch to match the other. And now I'm just taking the makeup sponge with the leftover concealer just to go over the areas that the spoolie might have brushed off. And now for the lips. I'm going to be using Makeup Forever Aqua Lip Liner in 2C to line my lips, and then after I will then fill them in. Taking Makeup Forever Rouge Artist Natural Lipstick in N9, I'm going to be applying that right over top of the lip liner. I always use a lip liner underneath of my lipsticks because it really helps to keep it on for all day. All finished. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you liked it, and let me know if you'd like more voiceover tutorials. I'm liking this a lot better than just using captions. So yeah, you can just let me know in the comments down below. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.